What's going on with the Steam Deck logo? Could it be a veiled reference to a Steam Deck exclusive? And what other things might you have missed about the Steam Deck? My name is Gardiner, and let's talk about this. So many people are still riding high on the announcement of the new gaming console, the Steam Deck, some bespoke kit from Valve that can play your Steam games on the go. And while there are a lot of people who are talking about some of the more obvious things, the fact that it's running Linux, the price point, and the power of the GPU and CPU, I wanted to take a look at some of the lesser known tidbits and features of the Steam Deck. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor, Tuxcare. For maximum security and compliance, enterprises need to rapidly patch vulnerabilities, keep production Linux systems updated with the latest fixes, and have a trusted technology partner for Linux support and maintenance. Tuxcare helps enterprises take care of the support, maintenance, and security of Linux systems. With the Tuxcare live patching service, Linux kernels, libraries, databases, virtualizations, and IoT devices can receive automated security patches applied with zero downtime. Tuxcare extended lifecycle support services let you migrate to the newest version of Linux at your own pace while maintaining protection from the common risks of running an end-of-life distro. Tuxcare Linux support services provide a full range of enterprise-grade Linux support with the perks of a vendor-independent technology partnership. Reasonably priced and flexible services to keep your current Linux systems continuously updated and secure. Learn more and apply for a free proof of concept on tuxcare.com. Also, to celebrate SysAdmin Day, Tuxcare is sponsoring the free issue of Admin Magazine with the free 10 Terrific Tools ebook, packed with actionable technical content to honor admins on their day. Go ahead and download it with a link down in the description. And thanks to Tuxcare for sponsoring this video. Alright, number 5 is the virtual keyboard theme and the UI in general. The product listing for the highest end SKU states that there are several virtual keyboard themes that you'll get when you purchase the device. That's the one I reserved, by the way, the 512 gigabyte. But you know what? This does actually suggest that there might be more virtual keyboard themes on the way, not just the exclusive one for the high tier SKU. And I wouldn't put it past Valve, knowing their history with TF2 hats, to be selling, virtual keyboard skins. Now, there is an image of the virtual keyboard on the Steam Deck's official announcement site, and it looks like a fairly standard virtual keyboard. I mean, there ain't much you can do with something like that. I'm hoping that it behaves a lot like Big Picture Mode's virtual keyboard, where with a Steam controller, you can actually use the touchpads to type really quickly, actually. That was one of my favorite things about the touchpads on the Steam controller, was being able to type so fast. Another thing of note is the actual overhaul of Big Picture Mode. I mean, for the last few years, Big Picture Mode really has seemed pretty long in the tooth, if you ask me. It hasn't really received any major updates and kind of has fallen by the wayside. I mean, to the point where the new chat experience has kind of just been shoehorned into Big Picture Mode. This new design looks ultra sleek and very well integrated. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Valve kind of forgoes the delineation between desktop mode and Big Picture Mode and just kind of moves the Steam client towards this new direction of the Deck UI. Number 4 is upgradable internal storage. When the Deck was first announced, the hardware specs said that the internal storage was not upgradable. However, after a day or so, the specifications were updated to say that the storage was, in fact, installed in an internal M.2 slot. And that's really awesome because a lot of people have noted that 512 gigabytes isn't a whole lot of internal storage when it comes to AAA games, especially modern ones. However, one massive question still remains. How hard is it going to be to crack this thing open and replace the drive? See, the spec sheet says all models use socketed 2230 M.2 modules not intended for end-user replacement. And that leads me to believe that it's not as easy as taking off the back cover and swapping out the drive. In fact, it might be that the M.2 slot is on the front of the motherboard relative to how you're supposed to hold it when you're playing. That would be unfortunate, but I am excited once I get this thing to take it apart and see how it ticks. But you know what? If you're not confident with a screwdriver, there is always the other option for upgrading your storage. Number 3, all of your games running off an SD card. Now, it's not news that the Steam Deck has a high-speed SD card slot, which can accommodate up to 2 terabytes, but a lot of people have opined the idea of running PC games off a standard SD card. Sure, it will definitely be slower than running games off internal NVMe storage, but how much slower? I suspect that most of the games will play just fine off of SD cards, and really only load times will be significantly impacted. It's worth noting that all of the footage that we've seen from the Steam Deck and IGN's coverage was being played off the SD card, and that's a pretty big deal. While many games stream textures and other assets from storage while you're playing, Digital Foundry did some frame counting and found that, for the most part, games played off the SD card ran perfectly fine, 60 FPS, and really only dropping a handful of frames here and there. I think that that's awesome, actually, and it's probably something that we can expect from most games going forward. Number 2, non-standard controls. When it comes to PC, the deck has quite peculiar controls. I mean, most PC gamers play first-person shooters and grand strategy titles using a mouse and a keyboard, you know? But the deck is different. It not only has console-style controls using analog sticks and a D-pad, face buttons, bumpers, and triggers, but it also has rear paddles like R4 and L4 and R5 and L5. It also has a touchscreen, a 6-axis gyroscope, and dual trackpads. There's also a home button, start and select, and this curious ellipsis button that seems to interact with notifications. And sure, you might have noticed how kind of strange this device looks, right? But I think as gamers over the last 2 decades, we've really grown complacent with the design of controllers. The difference between the original DualShock and the DualSense, marginal at best. Maybe we have haptic triggers, maybe there's a touchpad in the center that's kind of inconvenient to reach, but it's largely the same layout. And the Xbox is even more guilty of this. From original Xbox to Xbox Series, besides moving the black and white buttons to the bumper positions, the biggest difference is ergonomics. Valve tried to move the industry forward with the Steam controller. And I think in many instances, the Steam controller was an innovative and convincing argument for expanding beyond the traditional controller. But what about the Steam Deck? Well, I think that it's going to make a huge splash, and if developers can really capitalize on the deck's innovative control scheme, then it will move the industry forward. Okay, number 1, the Steam Deck logo. What is going on with this thing? I honestly think that there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. First, there's the obvious answer. It's the Steam piston logo with most of it missing, and that could definitely be the case. It could be shaped like a D for deck, and maybe that's the end of it. Sweet and simple, right? But when you line up the deck logo with the Steam logo, kind of doesn't, at least to my designer eye, doesn't really match up. The outer half circle of the deck logo is significantly thicker than the Steam logo, and maybe that's done to give it a little more readability at like a smaller scale, but it really feels like it has more personality here than just the Steam logo cut in half, like a lot more. When I first saw the logo, it very strongly brought to mind the Aperture Science aesthetic, and honestly what I first saw when I looked at this logo was Wheatley from Portal 2, but not just Wheatley. If you're on the deck website, the blue inner circle continuously changes color, going from blue to purple to green to yellow and back again. And it just so happens that the personality cores from Portal 2 have the same purple, blue, green, and yellow eyes. And that's kind of compelling to me. Now, maybe this is just a subtle nod to Portal 2. You know, maybe the designers on Portal 2 are also working on the Steam Deck's branding. Lord knows that Valve have done everything they can to embrace the Aperture Science aesthetic for everything that they do as a company now. Let's look at their website together and just count up the number of references to Valve properties that are on their website. There are 4 references to Portal 2, or the Portal franchise, and there's 1 reference to Left 4 Dead. No Dota, no Half-Life, no TF2, no CSGO. And that's it across all of Valve's games. Those are the only 2 games that get mentioned, and of the 2 games, Portal gets the majority of references. And if you count the IGN coverage, Dota gets mentioned once, and that's when Gabe says that he plays Dota, and Portal 2 gets several more references. And really, it seems like there's a lot of Portal references here. I can't help but feel that the deck's logo deliberately invokes the personality cores from Portal 2. So what if a sequel is on the way? What if a Steam Deck exclusive launches, or at least a timed exclusive launches for the Steam Deck? Now, this could be wishful thinking. I hope that it's not. I would love to see a new entry in the Portal franchise, because Portal's my favorite game of all time, if you can't tell. I also have a display up here of GLaDOS, but I don't know. I would love to know what you think about this. Hit me up in the comments and let me know. Portal is my favorite game. Do you think that I'm being just a Portal fanboy? Let me know. I can't even. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons and my YouTube members who make what I do here on the channel possible. If it wasn't for them, I would not be able to do this. So thanks guys, I really appreciate it. If you believe in the work that I do and you want to help support this show, you can become a YouTube member or you can become a patron by using the links in the description. But no matter what you do, I wanted to thank you for being here as always. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the cool stuff that we're doing here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now and have a blessed day.